Mindset is a book written by American psychologist Professor Carol Dweck. The core focus of the book is the power of mindset and the profound impact it has on a person's success across nearly every area of life. According to common belief, we often assume that success belongs only to those who are born with natural talent or those who are simply lucky. However, after reading Mindset, the way you think about success and the way you view human potential can change significantly. The book offers a completely new perspective on what success truly means. It helps readers understand that success is not reserved for people with innate abilities or fortunate circumstances. Instead, real success comes from a continuous process of change, practice, learning, and the development of one's way of thinking. Mindset is grounded in decades of psychological research on human behavior. Throughout the book, Carol Dweck does not merely present theories. She also provides many real-world examples that make these ideas tangible and relatable. Because of this, readers can clearly see the role and the benefits of changing the way they think. This book is valuable for everyone, regardless of profession or background. It is relevant to teachers, business leaders, coaches, parents, students, and anyone who is on a journey of personal growth and self-improvement. To better understand the foundation behind these ideas, it is important to look at the scholar who developed them. Carol Dweck is an American professor of psychology. She has been a professor of psychology at Stanford University since 2004 and is also a member of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences. She currently lives in Palo Alto, California, with her husband. At the core of Mindset are key psychological ideas that explain how beliefs about ability influence learning, performance, and personal development. Chapter 1: The Two Types of Mindset. The book introduces two fundamentally different types of mindset: the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. People with a fixed mindset believe that their abilities are limited and cannot be changed, regardless of the field or situation. In contrast, people with a growth mindset believe that outcomes can always improve if they are willing to commit to learning and continuous practice over time. Not achieving success at the present moment does not mean that success will never come. A growth mindset encourages commitment, effort, and persistence. It helps individuals face challenges, overcome difficulties, and continuously push themselves to discover their highest potential. To better understand the difference between these two mindsets, consider the following example. Imagine that one day, a person named A attends an important class. A truly enjoys this subject and cares deeply about it. However, when the midterm exam results are returned, A receives a C+. A feels deeply disappointed. Later that afternoon, on the way home, A is fined by the police for parking in an unauthorized area. Already feeling discouraged, A calls a friend to talk about the day, but the friend responds in a cold and indifferent way. If you were in A's position, how would you feel and how would you react? When researchers conducted surveys across different experimental groups, they observed clear differences in responses. People with a fixed mindset often responded with thoughts such as, I feel rejected. I am stupid. I am a failure. I feel useless and inferior to everyone else. Life is unfair and all my efforts are meaningless. Life is terrible. I am foolish and nothing good ever happens to me. On the other hand, people with a growth mindset responded very differently. Their thoughts sounded more like this: I need to try harder in class, be more careful when parking, and check on my friend to see whether they might also be having a difficult day. A C+ shows that I need to put in much more effort academically, but I still have half of the semester left to improve my grade. The fundamental difference between these two mindsets lies in how people interpret negative events. People with a fixed mindset tend to link negative experiences directly to their self-worth. They see these events as evidence of permanent flaws that cannot be changed. People with a growth mindset do not define their value based on negative events. Instead, they view difficulties as opportunities to confront challenges and find solutions. This does not mean that they do not feel disappointment or sadness. They do. However, they do not allow these emotions to define who they are or what they are capable of becoming. The key message Carol Dweck emphasizes in this chapter is especially important. Having a fixed mindset is not inherently bad. Every one of us possesses some degree of fixed mindset in certain areas of life. The encouraging truth is that we all have the ability to change and develop our mindset through learning and consistent practice. No one exists entirely within a fixed mindset or entirely within a growth mindset. Most of us fall somewhere along a spectrum between the two. Chapter 2. Inside the Mindset. Entering a particular mindset is like stepping into a completely different world. In one world, failure is seen as a barrier. Receiving a low grade, losing a competition, being fired, or facing rejection all mean the same thing. They suggest that you're not intelligent or not talented. In the other world, failure simply means that growth has not yet happened. Not reaching a goal does not imply a lack of ability. It means that you have not yet fully developed your potential. In one world, effort is viewed negatively. Just like failure, effort is interpreted as evidence of weakness. If you were truly smart or talented, you would not need to try so hard. Carol Dweck conducted research involving thousands of participants, starting from kindergarten age and beyond. She was surprised by how many people actively avoided learning opportunities. The reason was fear. They feared being judged and evaluated for their abilities. In one experiment, young children were given a choice. They could either repeat a simple puzzle they had already mastered or attempt a more challenging one. Most children chose the safe option and repeated the easy puzzle. Even at such a young age, many children already displayed a fixed mindset. They believed in fixed traits and feared being labeled as not smart. To them, being smart meant never making mistakes. In contrast, children with a growth mindset, those who believed that intelligence could be developed, chose the more difficult puzzle. They wanted to challenge themselves and learn something new. The same pattern appears among college students. When given opportunities to enroll in language courses or skill-based programs, students with a growth mindset actively seek these opportunities to improve themselves. Students with a fixed mindset often show little interest. They avoid participation because they fear exposing their weaknesses. This pattern also extends to leaders and chief executive officers of major companies. When leaders remain in positions of power while striving to appear flawless and refusing to confront their shortcomings, they are more likely to make poor decisions. Their choices become focused on protecting a perfect image rather than serving the greater good of the organization. This phenomenon is sometimes referred to as the chief executive officer disease. That said, there are many effective and successful leaders. These are individuals who openly acknowledge their limitations and continuously work to improve their leadership skills. Chapter 3. The Truth About Ability and Achievement. You are probably familiar with Thomas Edison, the man credited with inventing the light bulb and bringing light to the modern world. The story we usually hear or imagine goes something like this. Edison works alone in a small workshop, surrounded by tools and wires. He bends over a round glass bulb. Suddenly, the light turns on. In that moment, a genius is born, a great man who single-handedly brings light to humanity. However, when Carol Dweck examined the historical record more closely, the reality turned out to be very different. Edison did not work alone. During the development of the light bulb, he had as many as 30 assistants, including formally trained scientists. They worked day and night in a modern laboratory funded by a company. The invention of the light bulb was not a single moment of brilliance. It was the result of a vast network of effort that consumed enormous amounts of time, energy, and collaboration among many scientists. The same pattern can be seen in other great achievements. Charles Darwin's On the Origin of Species, a landmark scientific work, was the product of many years of collective effort. It involved countless discussions with colleagues and mentors, multiple drafts, and nearly half a lifetime of dedication. Even Mozart, often portrayed as a natural-born musical genius, worked tirelessly for more than 10 years before producing the masterpieces we admire today. Before that period, most of his compositions showed little originality or lasting appeal. There are many widespread misconceptions about ability and achievement, especially when it comes to exceptional individuals who are often portrayed as solitary geniuses. People tend to believe that those with innate talent do not need to try hard, and that success comes to them quickly and effortlessly. This belief is incorrect. In reality, the most outstanding individuals are often those who work the hardest and put in the greatest effort. Many of them begin in obscurity, without recognition or special attention. It is true that natural talent exists, and this should not be denied. However, talent should not be used as a standard for comparison. Each person comes from a unique background, faces different circumstances, and holds different aspirations. These factors shape personal development in distinct ways. The central message of this chapter is clear. Commitment to effort, a willingness to learn, and sustained practice are essential to meaningful achievement. Chapter 4. The Mindset of Champions. In the world of sports, people strongly believe in natural talent and physical gifts. Even experts often search for athletes who appear to be born with exceptional abilities. Height, strength, speed, and body structure are frequently treated as decisive factors in determining future champions. According to Carol Dweck, however, mindset and perspective matter far more than innate physical advantages. An athlete may not possess an ideal body type, but through disciplined training, careful observation, strategic thinking, and the ability to face fear and failure, that athlete can still achieve lasting success. To understand this more clearly, it is helpful to look at how mindset shapes real athletic careers. One revealing example is Billy Beane, a naturally gifted athlete who was once predicted to become the next Babe Ruth in baseball. By the 11th grade, Beane was already the best hitter on his baseball team and also played as a midfielder on the football team. His talent was undeniable. Yet, as he moved from the minor leagues to the major leagues, his performance began to decline. He missed swings more often, and each failure affected him deeply on an emotional level. Disappointment itself was not the core issue. The deeper question was why Beane could not recover, adapt, and continue developing his talent. The answer becomes clear through interviews conducted later in his career. Beane believed that he should never strike out. He did not simply dislike failure. He had no psychological framework that allowed him to accept it. This belief reflects a fixed mindset. It is the belief that true talent does not require effort, that effort is something only less gifted people need, and that talented individuals should not need help. This mindset ultimately trapped Beane, not despite his talent, but because of it. Interestingly, Beane's perspective began to shift when he observed another player competing alongside him in the minor leagues, Lenny Dykstra. Dykstra did not possess extraordinary physical talent. Yet Beane was struck by his approach to the game. Dykstra constantly learned from mistakes, adjusted his strategy, and remained committed to effort. Through careful observation and reflection, Beane gradually came to understand that mindset, adaptability, and persistence mattered more than raw talent. This realization later shaped Beane's career in a profound way. In 2002, as the general manager of the Oakland Athletics, he led the team to 103 wins. The team won the division and nearly broke the Major League Baseball record for consecutive victories, demonstrating how a shift in mindset could transform outcomes at the highest level. A similar pattern can be seen in the sport of boxing. By traditional standards, Muhammad Ali was not considered a natural-born athlete. He did not meet the typical measurements believed to define elite fighters, such as hand size, chest expansion, or body weight. His opponent, Sonny Liston, represented the opposite. Liston had size, strength, experience, and an intimidating reputation. He was widely viewed as unbeatable, and few people believed Ali had any real chance of winning. Yet, Ali defeated Liston and changed the history of boxing. Later interviews revealed the deeper truth behind this victory. Beyond his speed, Ali possessed an extraordinary mental advantage. Before the fight, he carefully studied his opponent. He read interviews, spoke with people who had known Liston closely, and spent time connecting all the information he gathered. He reflected deeply and tried to understand how Liston thought and reacted under pressure. Ali then used this psychological insight during the match. His victory showed the world that physical strength alone does not define a champion. A champion also needs a powerful and flexible mindset. Another powerful illustration of the champion mindset can be found in the story of Michael Jordan. Jordan was not initially seen as a natural prodigy. He was cut from his high school basketball team and was not selected for the varsity team at the University of North Carolina. Despite these early setbacks, he went on to become one of the greatest basketball players in history. Jordan's success began with discipline and deliberate effort. He left home early every morning to practice shooting, focusing relentlessly on his weaknesses, including defense, ball handling, and shooting technique. His coaches were amazed by his work ethic, which far exceeded that of others around him. Even after reaching the peak of success, Jordan continued to train with the same intensity and commitment. Those close to him often described him as a genius who constantly sought to improve. Jordan himself believed that success came from the mind. He once stated that mental toughness and heart were far more powerful than physical advantages. Many people still look at Jordan's physique and assume his success was the result of natural athleticism alone. However, his story, like many others, reveals a different truth. It was a growth mindset combined with relentless effort that led to greatness. Throughout the book, Carol Dweck presents numerous examples of athletes who succeeded not because of effortless talent, but because of dedication, learning, and persistence. Sports provide some of the clearest evidence that a growth mindset plays a decisive role in achieving true excellence. Chapter 5: Business, Mindset, and Leadership. Just as in sports, the business world is deeply obsessed with talent. Companies often spend enormous sums of money to recruit star performers and elite leaders. While this approach is not inherently wrong, excessive admiration for talent can foster a fixed mindset within organizations. When companies emphasize brilliance above all else, they indirectly pressure employees to constantly prove that they are exceptional. This discourages learning, experimentation, and honest discussion of mistakes. Leaders with a fixed mindset tend to see the world in rigid categories. In their view, there are superior people and inferior people. Because they are constantly seeking validation of their own greatness, they may push companies toward failure by making stubborn decisions designed to protect their personal image rather than serve the organization. Carol Dweck analyzes many such leaders in her book, showing how fixed mindset thinking can undermine even powerful companies. She also highlights the qualities of truly great leaders. These leaders are not necessarily extraordinary or gifted in obvious ways. Yet they consistently guide companies from good to great. How do they achieve this? Through a growth mindset. This insight aligns with a 5-year study conducted by Jim Collins and his research team. They identified 11 companies whose stock returns outperformed the market for 15 consecutive years. These companies were compared with similar firms in the same industries that failed to make such progress or could not sustain long-term success. The key difference was leadership. Companies that made the leap from good to great were led by individuals with a growth mindset, leaders who believed in the potential of people. These leaders were humble. They did not seek to appear superior. They did not display power or claim credit for success. Instead, they worked diligently, acknowledged their mistakes, valued talent, and consistently asked difficult questions with a long-term health of the company in mind. Chapter 6: Relationships and Mindset in Love. In this chapter, The author takes a more personal approach and examines how mindset operates within relationships, particularly in romantic love. Love is often viewed purely as an emotional experience. However, Carol Dweck explains that love is deeply influenced by mindset. The way a person responds to conflict, heartbreak, rejection, and emotional pain reveals how they think about love and relationships. For someone with a fixed mindset, rejection often feels like a final judgment of their worth as a person. They may interpret a breakup as permanent damage and conclude that they are incapable of loving or being loved again. In some cases, if they were betrayed, they may seek revenge as a way to protect their wounded sense of self. In contrast, people with a growth mindset still experience deep pain after a breakup, but they choose a different path forward. Rather than allowing the pain to define them, they focus on healing and personal growth. One woman with a growth mindset shared her experience by saying that she was not a saint, but she understood that in order to feel at peace, she needed to forgive and let go. She acknowledged that her partner hurt her deeply, but she also recognized that her life was still ahead of her. She believed that remaining trapped in the past would only cause further harm. A man with a growth mindset expressed a similar realization. He said that he once believed love could conquer everything, but over time he learned that love often needs help. He also discovered more about what kind of partner suited him best. He came to believe that every relationship teaches something important about compatibility and personal needs. Because of a growth mindset, these individuals do not believe that emotional pain must last forever. Instead, they try to learn meaningful lessons about themselves and about relationships. They carry these lessons forward, using them to build healthier and more fulfilling connections in the future. A growth mindset offers significant support in romantic relationships. With a fixed mindset, people tend to believe that personal traits are unchangeable. They assume that who they are is fixed, who their partner is remains fixed, and that the nature of the relationship itself is fixed. This belief often creates unrealistic expectations. People may imagine that love should remain perfect forever, like a romantic scene frozen in time. When reality does not match this illusion, disappointment and suffering follow. With a growth mindset, people understand that relationships evolve. Both partners change over time, and the relationship itself also changes. Romance does not remain constant, and love is not always gentle or effortless. When conflicts arise, a growth mindset helps individuals recognize that love requires effort from both people. Building a relationship involves patience, communication, and a willingness to grow together through the ups and downs of life. In relationships that can no longer be repaired, a growth mindset can still play a powerful role. It helps individuals heal emotional wounds and gradually move forward on a path that aligns better with who they are becoming. Chapter 7: Parents, Teachers, and Coaches, and Where Mindset Comes From. One of the final chapters explores the influence of parents, teachers, and coaches. This chapter focuses on how praise shapes mindset and how the way we encourage others, especially children, affects their development. Rather than praising innate talent or intelligence, Carol Dweck emphasizes the importance of praising effort, time, and dedication. This approach encourages people to engage fully with challenges rather than fear them. Consider a child who proudly shows their mother a good grade from school. Instead of saying that the child is smart or naturally gifted, which sends the message that success comes from fixed traits and may discourage future effort, the mother could respond by acknowledging the child's hard work. She might say that she is proud of the grade because it shows how much effort and dedication the child put into studying. This kind of praise reinforces persistence and resilience. It prepares children to face challenges when natural ability alone is not enough to solve a problem. This principle applies not only to children but also to adults. It can be used with family members, friends, students, and colleagues. By recognizing effort rather than labeling talent, We validate ability while helping people understand the true value of hard work. Chapter 8. Changing Mindset. People differ in talents, interests, and abilities. However, everyone has the capacity to grow and improve through learning, practice, and the development of new skills. Does this mean that everyone can become another Edison or Mozart? Of course not. A growth mindset does not promise identical outcomes for everyone. Instead, it emphasizes that when true potential is still unknown, it is impossible to predict what someone might achieve after years of dedication, learning, and effort. With a growth mindset, people believe that development is always possible. Each person can live their best possible life by striving toward their highest potential, whatever that may be. Book review and personal reflections. Mindset, written by American psychologist Professor Carol Dweck, is a valuable book that helps readers understand the power of changing the way they think. Through reading this book, you gain a clear understanding of the two types of mindset. You are also invited to reflect on yourself and examine whether you tend to operate with a fixed mindset, a growth mindset, or somewhere along the spectrum between the two. When discussing its limitations, one noticeable point is that the book does not provide a step-by-step roadmap or a concrete formula for how to practice and develop a growth mindset. Carol Dweck openly acknowledges this near the end of the book. There is no universal method or fixed path that guarantees mindset change. This is because every individual faces different challenges, circumstances, lifestyles, and belief systems. Changing one's mindset requires self-awareness. It requires recognizing the beliefs and assumptions that influence behavior, as well as identifying the beliefs that can support personal growth. Another limitation is the length of the book. Some ideas and examples are repeated multiple times, which may feel excessive for certain readers. 10 key messages from the book Mindset. First, understanding mindset is essential. With a fixed mindset, you believe that your abilities are predetermined and cannot be changed. With a growth mindset, you believe that success is possible through effort, learning, and the discovery of your highest potential. Second, mindset plays a critical role in life. The way we think has a significant influence on motivation, performance, personal satisfaction, and overall happiness. Third, mindset strongly affects learning. A growth mindset encourages curiosity, a love of learning, and the pursuit of passion. It allows challenges and failures to become opportunities for growth. In contrast, a fixed mindset can limit progress and discourage exploration. Fourth, overcoming failure becomes possible with a growth mindset. Instead of seeing failure as proof of limitation, it is viewed as a chance to learn and improve. The message of failure becomes this: you have not succeeded yet, but that does not mean you will never succeed. Fifth, effort is the key to improvement. A growth mindset recognizes that effort is necessary to grow and master skills. Success is not determined by fate or destiny, but by consistent and meaningful effort. Sixth, feedback and criticism take on a new role. With a growth mindset, you are more open to seeking constructive feedback and using it as a tool for self-improvement. Seventh, success in education is deeply influenced by mindset. Teachers and parents can nurture a growth mindset in children, helping them achieve better academic results while also developing a genuine love for learning. Eighth, mindset plays an important role in relationships. A growth mindset can positively shape how we handle conflict, understand others, and build stronger and more resilient relationships. Ninth, mindset matters in both business and sports. Individuals with a growth mindset tend to excel in their careers and athletic pursuits because they believe in their ability to improve and overcome obstacles through learning and persistence. 10th, mindset can be changed. A growth mindset can be developed through self-awareness, deliberate practice, and the willingness to see challenges as opportunities for learning and growth. Mindset is a book that offers a deep and thoughtful understanding of the power of mindset through psychological research on human behavior. The real-life examples throughout the book can inspire perseverance and long-term effort. They encourage readers to stay committed to personal goals and to continue growing into a better version of themselves, both now and in the future. I hope this reflection helps you gain a deeper understanding of mindset and the ideas that make it such an influential and meaningful book.